What is good? What is good, everybody? Juliana Page here. I am so excited actually about this word on today. It's one that it's one of those words that you learn through a lot of trial and error, and you wish somebody would have just given you the heads up before you went through all that trial and error. This is one of those words. So this is all about, if you are interested in motivating people, I am surrounded by people that are highly motivated, that do take the actions. They're the dreamers, but they're also the doers in the world. And it's taken a long time to, one, believe that I am one of those and to align with those people, okay? Because a lot of people say they want to motivate others. A lot of people say they want to inspire others. A lot of people want to have their own teams and they want to do all these great things in the world, but they're saying it and their character isn't in agreement, or their actions aren't lining up with what they're saying, okay? So in a lot of ways, they're not ready, they're out of alignment, and they're not willing to do the work. And you've got to be ready and willing. If there's one thing I know from working with tons of clients, is you've got to be ready and willing. You can tell me that you're ready. There's this huge sense of urgency, but when it comes down to actually making an investment in yourself so that you can be a better investment for other people, they won't do it. But you've got to be ready and willing to do the work, okay? So I'm going to take you through a couple of things that I've noticed. There's a few things here actually that I've noticed have been really big keys and game changers when it comes to building a team and leading leaders, okay? So believe it or not, at one season in my life, maybe a few seasons, I was actually paid by companies to motivate the unmotivated, okay? So I was paid to come, to bring the energy, to really present information in dynamic and in simplified ways, to create structure, to provide accountability, to help get results and really turn the unmotivated into high performance teams, okay? But there's something about that, because unmotivated people, you can show them, you can teach them, you can inspire them, you can even model the example right before them. But unless they are ready and willing, unless they've got that belief in themselves, unless they are decided that they are going to be a motivated person, you can't change anybody. Okay? So it is a gift. It is a gift to see somebody's potential and not let them stay comfortable where they are, because there's always more, right? That's a gift. But you also have to be aware that you could burn out, you could exhaust that energy that is meant to be in other people by investing in the wrong places, okay? So if you're paid to do this, right, there's some controls there that are going to make you show up no matter what, right? But when it comes to building your own team, you want to make sure that you are being clear about the message that you're sending and about what you're actually sowing so that you reap what it is that you're actually after, okay? So that's what I'm going to help you get clear on today. So this really is about making the right tweaks, And I'm coming at you mostly from a business standpoint. When people are talking about wanting to help motivate other people, wanting to inspire other people, wanting to drive results, right? They're usually talking about business. Now, that's great if they want to do it for volunteer purposes. That's ministry. That's not business. So I really want to distinguish between the two. So number one thing to pay attention to when you say that you want to motivate, okay? Number one thing is something that you're going to need is a new mindset. You're going to need a new mindset. So a lot of times when you're wanting to build a team, this comes in all spectrums. You might not have your people yet. You might have gotten some, but you don't have the amount that you need yet to really have a solid, strong team, right? You might not even know where to start. You could be very, very brand new, right? So here's the thing. A lot of times we think that we have to sell something. And when you're doing it right, when you're mission-centered, you're not selling a day in your life. Because that heart, that passion, that's more about service and helping somebody else and serving somebody else. And when you get caught up in fear and anxiety and overwhelm, that's self-focused. That's focused on yourself. So when you are mission focused and heart-centered and service-driven, you will find a way to help other people, so much so that you'll get out of your own web. Okay? So the first shift that you're going to need to make is a mindset shift. When you want to build a team, you've got to make a mindset shift. This is no longer you focused. I've got to convince and I've got to coerce and I've got to push, right? That's not it at all. You actually are being an investor and a wise investor. Who am I going to build with? I'm building a team. I am building a community. I am building leaders, right? So first of all, I'm going to build myself, right? So that I can be in integrity, but I'm also going to really pay attention for who it is that I'm called to build with, because it's not everyone. You're not desperate. It's not everyone, but a lot of people do not make that distinction out of the gate. The new mindset is, I'm not selling, I'm not convincing. If this isn't my person, I'm going to keep it moving because I know what I'm called to. I know who I'm called to. And I know the people that I'm called to need me to show up so that we can run this together because we're stronger together. Okay? So here's the thing. You've got to make showing up for that person, your team builder person, you've got to make showing up for that person non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. A great example is, oh man, okay. So I've worked with some clients who want to lose weight, okay? So the reason that they're not losing weight usually is because they're not putting in the work, right? They're not cleaning up their nutrition. They're not showing up consistently, right? They're not putting in the work and the work that happens behind the scenes. But why aren't they putting in the work? It's deeper than that, right? Because they haven't made doing the work non-negotiable. It hasn't been non-negotiable. So for example, what I've done before is I'll ask this person, in this case, what I asked was, why is it that you don't weigh 300 pounds? Why is it that you don't weigh 300 pounds? And this person like freaked out. I could never weigh that because 300 pounds was non-negotiable. I will not ever weigh 300 pounds. Okay? So just a dramatic example of when you make something non-negotiable, it's happening no matter what. I am going to speak about what I do. I'm going to share it with other people. I'm going to serve people, right? I'm going to get out there and do things that maybe are uncomfortable for you because it's non-negotiable. My calling is non-negotiable. My destiny is non-negotiable, and I'm going to show up for it every day. And part of that is connecting with other people. So my mindset is it's non-negotiable. Me connecting with my team builders is non-negotiable, and I'm going to find a way to do that every day. It's part of who I am now. Okay. So that's number one when you want to build a team. That's not something that you're relaxed or casual about. That's something you're focused and committed about. And that's something that you've made non-negotiable. Okay. So number one is you've got a new mindset. Number two is you've got a new attitude. You've got a new attitude. You know when somebody is confident. You know when somebody is confident, not cocky. You know when somebody knows who they are and they freaking walk in their authority like they own it because they do, because they've fought to be who they are, because they've worked through a lot of soul work, because they've worked on their mindset, they've worked on their emotions, they've worked on their heart, they've worked on healing, and they've earned that walk, okay? And they deserve some praise, let me just tell you. So the second thing that you're gonna need is this new attitude that comes from making things non-negotiable, meaning making the work for your team building, for your brand, for your business, whatever the work is for you. I'm using the example of building a team here, but whatever the work is for you, whether you're in a direct sales business, whether you are in a consulting business, whether you are in a branding business, whatever it is for you, you've got to focus on the main thing and make that non-negotiable every day. The thing that's going to move your business forward every day, you've got to focus on that one thing that you usually avoid, that one thing that moves the needle forward, and do it every day. Make it non-negotiable. Number two is you've got to get this new attitude. And it's really that you're going to stop resenting fans and people that don't want to go all the way in with you. A huge quote that's out there in the world is, not everybody's going to have the same heart that you do. Not everybody's going to have the same passion that you do. Not everybody's going to be willing to do the work that you do. But don't resent the ones that still want to be close to that, right? That still want to experience the energy of that, but don't want to do the work. Don't resent that, okay? So a way to look at this is not everybody understands how simple leadership can be. A lot of times we make it very complex, okay? But if you make it simple, it'll be way more fun and delightful for you. But most people do not show up for practice every day is the best way to simplify this new attitude. And when you know that and when you realize that, you won't be bummed and you won't get offended when people don't show up to do the work that you do and they don't bring the same amount of passion and energy to what you do every day. You won't be bothered by that, and you'll be able to distinguish where people are at on their journey. So yes, you can help as many people as are brought into your sphere of influence, if you will. However, you can have different offers for the different types of people that come to you as well, so that you can stay in your energy and hold and maintain the right boundaries that you need to thrive, not just survive, okay? So what this could look like, a really good example, I grew up in Ohio. We were an Ohio State family. We have a lot of Ohio State family grads. So we went to football games. We went to tailgates. We went to football games. We loved the Ohio State band, okay? Like we were all up in football, all right? Now, football was not my sport, okay? But I still had fun with all of that because the fans were what made that exciting. The fans were what made that a really neat experience. And there were so many great memories that came from that. And none of it had to do with football. None of it had to do with the actual game. So this lets me know that there's going to be different facets of that. So if you take this football stadium example, take your business, take your social media profile, take whatever it is that's forward facing that people can connect with you, okay? Whether that's a store that is, at a mall in some way, if that's a Facebook profile, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Twitter, if it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, I don't know, right? But whatever it is that people are connecting with you on, that is the stadium. They're getting all of whatever you put out every day for free. They ain't paying nothing. That's like turning on cable and watching a game. Okay, you're getting access to it, you're getting some of the energy of it, but you're not getting the full experience of it. Okay, so that's kind of level one. That's an offer for somebody. Level two would be somebody buys a ticket. So they get into the stadium, but they're in those like nosebleed sections, right? Like they're like all the way up there. Okay, so they're not even really in the action, but they're in there. They can see the big screens. They can have that experience of being in the stadium, right? So maybe they buy an entry level thing, whether you have a devotional or you have a course or whatever it is. Maybe they buy that thing. So they've got some level of access, but it's still pretty high up, right? And then you have folks that pay pretty close to the full price, okay? But you often think that this person, when somebody pays full price for something, you think that this person is your person. You think that they're all in, they're gonna like build and like be on this adventure with you, when really that person doesn't want to show up for practice every day. They actually want to sit in the front row and be like nearly in the action, but like not doing it. Okay, so that is probably where the biggest, when we think about building a team, that's one of the biggest disconnects is we misread where people are. Okay, and their awareness of leadership and what it takes, right? It takes hard work. It's not complicated usually, but it takes hard work, and it takes making mistakes and making adjustments and showing up for practice every day, even when you're tired, even when you're sore, even when you'd rather not, even when you'd like to sleep in, you still show up for practice every day, okay? And then there are still those that do show up for practice, right? And what I would say to these that show up for practice, these are your fertile ground, people. Okay. So really what this is a lesson in with this football analogy is the idea of where you're sowing and how you're sowing. This is where in business, particularly I see with clients, either we sow into everybody because we want to be a people pleaser and we want to fix everything. And then we are burnt out, we're frustrated, we're not getting a return where we're investing and we're not doing well. Like our business is tanking. Okay. Then there's others that have structure, that have accountability, that have systems in place so that they can show up in a way that is healthy and high functioning for them. And they can sow in the right ground that actually brings a return. Okay. And that's not a bad thing. That's wisdom. That's wisdom in action, because you're not going to be able to help everybody, and not everybody actually is ready or willing to do the work. Okay. So you've got to make sure that you're sowing on fertile ground. You can sow in sandy ground, you can sow in rocky ground, and you can sow in fertile ground, but you want to make sure that you're sowing in the right place. And you got to pay attention to how you're sowing, okay? If you keep sowing into rocky ground, nothing that you're planting is actually going to take root. And you've got to use wisdom and discernment in order to discern that and distinguish that, okay? So again, with this football stadium, you got people that just want it for free. They just want to watch you. They like your behind the scenes. They like how you show up. They like the energy you bring. You look like a fun person that brings life to their life. Cool. No investment, they're free, you gotta love them. Cool. Next one, you got people that pay for like bare minimum. Like, I just want to read this devotional. I just want to do this thing. Love you. Love you. Like, thank you for the support, right? Then you have the people that pay for something pretty significant. Let's say they get started on consulting services with you, right? But they do still not all the things, right? And this is somebody that just wants front row seats. They don't want to do the work every day. And then you have those that are all in with you, and you only need a few of them when it comes to team building and building your team. So from this example, you can see that it's really important not to just cast your pearl before swine. Yes, these are biblical references, but there's wisdom to that. There's a guidebook for your life. And if you apply it, it works for you, right? So you've got to pay attention to that too. Okay. So number one, new mindset. You are not in a convincing business. You are not forcing. You're not begging. You are not pleading. You're not doing any of that. You own what you've got, and you pay attention to who can recognize that and who you can build with. You pay attention to that. You've got a new mindset. You're here to build, and you're going to pay attention to who's ready to actually build. The harvest is plentiful, right? But the laborers are few. So you're looking for your laborers, okay? Number two is you've got a new attitude. No longer are you going to be paid to motivate the unmotivated. No, if you are in your own business, if you are leading a culture and a community, you're going to build this very differently, and you're going to pay attention to where you're sowing. Yes, you can be kind. Yes, you can honor, you can respect, you can show up as a good freaking human, but that doesn't mean that you're going to give all of your value and all of your goods for free. No. Like, that is not how you're going to build. It's not how you're going to build. If you've tried it, you know where I'm coming from. It's not going to work. Okay. So number three, number three is a new message. Okay. New mindset, new attitude. This one is new message. New message is, this is not about them. It's never about them. It's about you. It's about you. If you're not getting results that you want, if you feel stuck, if you're looking at all the things that aren't working, that's about you. It's about what you're looking at. It's about what you're focusing on. It's what you're comfortable experiencing every day as your emotional home. What are the things that you keep feeling and feeding yourself and flooding yourself with every day? How do you talk to yourself? What do you listen to? What is the soundtrack in your mind? What are you focusing on? What are you comparing yourself to? What action are you actually taking? It's about you. It's about you. It's never about them. Okay. So when you make it about somebody else, off the path, get back on the path, right? It's about you. So this has to play into that new attitude where everybody's welcome, but you're only going to look for a few who are willing to build with you, because you need people that get it. You need people that you don't have to convince. You need people that are godsends, right? That are divine connections, that you don't have to do this extra work of just really building understanding and getting on the same level. Like, you're there and you're going higher together. That requires you doing that work every day and really checking the messages that you're agreeing with, that you're partnering with, and that you're sending out, right? Because your people very, very easily could even be in your following. They could be following your page. They could be liking your post, but you could miss them if you're not thinking the right messaging, if you're not speaking and prophesying the right messaging over your life, if you're not living it, if you're not living this frequency of faith and you're only caught up in fear, you're going to attract people that are also in that same frequency. You've got to change the dial and you've got to consistently live on it. That's you and your work. That is nobody else's job. That is your job. Okay. So this new message is you're looking genuinely for the few, not the many, the few that are willing to go to this next level with you, meaning there's collaboration, meaning you don't have to know it all. You don't have to be perfect. And they get that. But they know that you guys need each other because iron sharpens iron, and you recognize one another and you can build together. And that's what it's about. So you shouldn't have to convince anybody of that. Okay. So you're looking for the few, okay, that are ready to go, that they're ready, they're willing, like, where do I sign up? Let's do the thing. That is your dream team. Those are the people that show up for practice. Those are the people that are sweating with you. Those are the people that are sore, just like you. Those are the people that get it because they are in the arena doing the work alongside you. And those are your people. On good days, on bad days, on every day in between, those are your people. You know that you could call them in a minute and they would pick up, or if they don't pick up in that minute, they'll shoot you a text and give you a heads up. They honor you, they respect you, they value you, they value what you carry, they recognize what you carry. Big, big difference than just a fan. Okay? All right. So, these people too, they get in a practical way what you're after. Okay? Yes, they're still going to need some structure, some accountability, but they get it. And it's not like you have to keep motivating them. They're motivated. They're motivated from within. Okay. And that's not always something you can teach. It's something that either exposure or a heck of a lot of pain will start shifting in you. Okay. So what am I getting at here? A lot of people say a lot of beautiful things. They do. A lot of people, if you ask them who they are, if you ask them what they're about, what they're passionate about, all of those things, they say that they're looking for purpose. They're looking for fulfillment. They're looking for clarity. They're looking for a brighter future. They're looking to make a bigger difference in the world. And they're coming to you as the one that can help them. But out of the many that come, only a few actually show up for practice. Of all the people that say that their destiny is a big deal, of all the people that say that they're hungry for their purpose and their calling, they're just waiting for it to show up. A lot of people that want to make a difference in the world, they're watching, but they're not doing. And a lot of people that can say those things don't actually appreciate the work that self-leadership, the behind the scenes unsexy work of leadership, of self-leadership that nobody's clapping in public for, every day showing up for yourself, every day aligning with your values and staying in integrity and resisting temptation and charging forward when nobody is clapping for you, when you don't see the results, right? Those people are the ones that are doing the work and the ones that get it because they're motivated by something really different. They're not motivated by approval. They're not motivated by following. They're not motivated by what the world can give. They're motivated from within, by a call, by a purpose, by destiny. And you'll know those people because they get it. They get it because they're showing up and doing the work. So my encouragement on today is if you are like these clients that I'm mentioning that have come with frustration of not getting the results that they're after, or frustration that they're just not able to find their people, or frustration that they've got their people they think, but their people aren't doing the work. May these things be enlightening for you. That's my hope. And that you will do the work on you every day, that you will show up to practice, because you can't expect anyone to show up in a way that you're not showing up. You can't. You're out of integrity. There's no way. And you can't expect somebody to invest in you when you're not willing to invest in somebody else. If you're not even willing to pay a price to make an investment, then nobody's going to pay a price to invest in you and whatever services you have to offer. So you've got to think with some wisdom. Common sense isn't so common, I found out, right? But there's wisdom, and if you apply it, it will serve you and teach you. So again, this is a wake-up call for some. This is like an aha for others, and this is like, yes, thank you for letting me know before I step into this. But if you make the right tweaks, you will feel so much more fulfilled, and you will be able to sustain where your business is going. You'll be able to really set the right boundaries and set the right standard for what it is to work with you and build with you, okay? So a lot of people, as I'm mentioning, learn and get knowledge and do a lot of trainings, but they don't apply the knowledge. And so if you learn something but don't do anything, that's just like you don't know it in the first place. So when you're building, you're looking for leaders. They're motivated from within. You're not here to motivate the unmotivated. You can't build with that. And you'll spend all your time trying to motivate somebody when your vision, when your business, when all of that is suffering because you're not investing in it. You're sowing in the wrong thing, okay? So look for the ones that apply knowledge. Look for the ones that are motivated from within. Look for the ones that when they say they want purpose, they want fulfillment, they want clarity, they want a brighter future, they want to make a difference, find out a little more about that. What does that look like? What are you currently doing? Where have you struggled? How could partnering with me shift that? Like, do the work on the front end so that you're not disappointed later and that your expectations are clear, okay? So number one, get a new mindset. Get a new mindset. Whatever that thing is in your business, that's your move the needle forward activity, you've got to make that non-negotiable. Got to make it non-negotiable. So that's number one. Number two is you've got to have a new attitude. You're not here to serve everybody. You can have an offer for everybody and different levels of access to you, but you're not here to serve and go all in with everybody, especially if they're not even willing to meet you halfway. No, like, would you do that in a relationship? No. Okay. Don't do that to yourself in business either. Number three, new message. Make sure that you are thinking, speaking, living, feeling, breathing who you are and what you're about so that you can be found by your people and so that you can clearly notice them when you see them also. Okay? Because if you're inconsistent, if you're sending fear-based messages rather than faith-based messages, if you're not actually sending a clear message and a clear signal consistently, you're going to get really diluted feedback. And you shouldn't be surprised by that. And that also means you can't be frustrated about it because that is in your control. Okay? So I hope this is helpful. And like alongside of those things, new mindset, new attitude, new message, you've also, when you're building something, you've got to have a way to create structure and accountability. If you just do these great things but have no structure and no accountability, how can you really gauge how you're doing? You've got to have some way to do that too, okay? Oh my goodness. If this blessed you, let a girl know. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and copy the link and share it with a friend. And if you want to kind of follow some daily happenings, you can follow me over on Instagram at Miss Juliana Page. You can also connect with me over at julianapage.com. All right, guys, until next time, stay blessed.